What's going on, you? This is Instructor Mike. You can follow me on Facebook at Mike Brown or Instructor Mike. Follow me on.
It could be you as a citizen, and you walked up and you see somebody. It look heavy? I don't know. Create special. That must be. But it's good to know that this can handle the high pressure rounds of the flooding. Ready to go.
Make eye contact with me. He's still trying to get it open a couple of times.
So chill.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? All right. What is going on? We're back at it again. We're back at it again. Why? Why are we back at it again? All right. If you're watching, go on ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, share, all that great stuff. We're going to go on ahead and dive into a few things for those of you all who are just joining us. What's going on? Normally, this show is called Trigger with Instructor Mike and Friends. We still call it Trigger with Instructor Mike. I just gave it a different introduction. It's all good. Friends are doing their thing, and so let's continue, okay? Tonight's show, we are going to focus on the mental health revocations that took place in Illinois around August of 2022. We are also going to focus on House Bill 5855. House Bill 5855 that is talking about the what is it talking about? I'm sorry about that. It's talking about the revocations, not the revocations, but the assault weapons ban that's coming to Illinois. It's a shame that we should even be having this conversation, but we are having this conversation. Do me a favor. Could we get the likes up? Could we get the likes up? Could we get the likes up? Those of you all who also will be listening, you're more than welcome to check out the replay on the Mike with Mike, on the Mike with Mike podcast, anywhere podcasts are broadcasted. Those of you all in the comments, I will recognize them shortly. I just needed to, yep, there we go. We'll go on ahead and get to that shortly. Just fix a couple of other things. Let's go on ahead and get the likes up. Get the likes up, please. Yeah, this House bill, people have been talking about the House bill, and it definitely is something to talk about because it's coming. It is coming. If you think it's not coming, man, don't be asleep on it. Don't be asleep on it. Don't be asleep on it. Let's go on ahead and continue. All right, here we go. What's going on, Sally? How are you? Let me get my banner going across this screen. Sorry about that. I think this is the banner I'm going to choose. All right, here we go. What's going on, Sally? What's going on? All right, from me, Granny Belly. What's going on? What's going on, Calvin Carbine? What's going on, William? What's going on? Good to see you too, Eric. What's going on, Ronald? What's going on? Ashley said, "Get out of Illinois now. Get out of Illinois now." Hey, what's going on, Pretty Gangdrina? So, for those of you all who like candles, right? You know, I gotta promote this because this candle smells so good, right? Here we go. Yes, I'm in a rage. I gotta turn it around. Sorry. Yes, I'm in a rage. Pineapple sage. What does that say? Yes, I'm in a rage. Pineapple sage. Go on ahead and go to waxthatash.co. Wax that ash. Yeah, I'm gonna burn this candle. This candle smells good. Sorry, I like candles. You said, did I see the new one, House Bill 5859? No, I did not. Thanks for letting me know, Dawn. I gotta look at that one now. Oh, all kind of tricks coming out of the state of Illinois. Waxthatash.com. Waxthatash.com. And make sure I put the that on the screen. Candles smell great. They really do. So yes, please make sure you go on ahead and support. There it is. I'm sorry, not com. That's the website right there. waxthatash.co. When I tell you how good these candles are amazing, right? Yes, I'm in a rage, pineapple sage. I had this one made for some of my anger management customers. It smells really, really good. So go to waxthatash.co. Wax that ash, A-S-H, not wax that A-S-S. That's something different. Waxthatash.co. Okay. Wonderful candles. Shop small business. Support small business. This candle company is a friend of the show and a sponsor. Friend of the show and a sponsor. Okay. So, yes, co.com. Waxthatash.com. Okay. What's going on? What's going on? Y'all want to check out that new House bill, 5859. 5859. Let's go ahead and dive into it. So, yes, those of you all who may not have been paying attention to things, yes, there is an assault weapons ban that is coming to Illinois, like it or not. And I had a chance to check out some videos of past and present that leads me to believe that this one has, what's going on, Mark Quinn? What's going on? That this one has a stronger chance of passing. As you know, Illinois is a blue state, not by, the entire state itself. The entire state, or the majority of the state, is actually a red state. But because Chicago is the third largest city in the United States, and Cook County, its county seat, or the county seat is Chicago, and Chicago is in Cook County, because of the large populace, that makes the entire state a blue state. And if you look at the politics of Illinois, both in the House and in the state representative, it's a super majority Democratic state. And we have a Democratic governor who just got elected to another 4 years. Okay. So this is likely going to pass. I would argue, those of you all who remember the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994, I'll say that again, the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994, otherwise known as the Clinton Crime Bill. This bill has some of the remnants of that bill, okay? And what leads me to believe that it is going to pass is not just the supermajority, but some of the Republicans that are going to likely support the bill too. And you'll see that shortly in a video that is definitely going to take place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this from ABC 7 Chicago, and pursuant to Title 17 United States Code Section 107, these videos are fair use because they are being used for criticism, commentary, things of that nature. So I will read your comments shortly. Please keep them coming. Let's get the likes up, share this, because this is a conversation that we should have, okay? And if you feel so inclined and you support good content like this, please look at the information scrolling across the ticker. Consider donating $5 or giving, $5 that would support getting more children's books that I've written into the hands of other children. No pressure, please. But if you support the efforts, the information is scrolling across the screen. Without further delay, let's go on ahead and get into it. Let me go on ahead and make the screen that a little bit wider. That don't make no sense. That's why, you know what? Rapture's not coming for you. I'm just letting you know. You said Kojic Baptist Drummer of the Year. You know what? Let me put you on pause for a minute. All right, here we go.
Not only ban the future sale of assault weapons, but also high-capacity magazines, those kinds of weapons that were used to wreak havoc on communities like Highland Park. Just 5 months after the tragic shooting at the Highland Park 4th of July parade that killed 7 and wounded dozens more, Democrats are pushing a statewide ban on assault weapons like the AR-15 used in that attack.
Those weapons that are really designed to kill as many people as possible in a very short period of time. I think most gun owners appreciate that this is something, it's not about hunting, it's not about personal protection. These are weapons designed to kill as many people as possible. And we need to take them off the streets. We need to take them out of circulation.
Liz Turnipseed still walks with a cane after taking a bullet to her pelvis at the parade. Now she's part of a group called Highland Park Gun Violence Project.
This legislation is just unbelievably important. Had this been in place on, July 4th, then I wouldn't have been shot.
The proposed law would ban the future sale of assault weapons. Those who currently own them would have to register them with the Illinois State Police. The law would ban the sale of magazines with more than 10 bullets in them. It would also raise the age for FOID cards to 21 for all guns.
As a dealer and as a human being, I find the criminal misuse of firearms abhorrent. Unfortunately, this will do nothing to address the criminal misuse of firearms.
Dan Eldridge says the assault weapons ban is unconstitutional, and the ban on magazines with more than 10 rounds would cause huge problems.
Virtually every full-size pistol has a magazine capacity of 15 to 20 rounds. You're talking about millions and millions of magazines.
Supporters of the proposed law concede Highland Park's ban on assault weapons did not prevent that tragedy, but believe a statewide ban could stop similar shootings.
Being able to get a gun and do a mass shooting, a lot of times it's just about proximity. And if you have to leave the state to go do it, you've got time to think about it. Maybe it doesn't happen.
Lawmakers returned to Springfield in January, and Representative Morgan is hoping to get this legislation passed before the new General Assembly is sworn in. Gun rights groups are already planning legal challenges.
Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to our ABC7 Chicago YouTube channel.
I got no problem pushing that on my channel because I'm using their video. So here's another video that we're just going to go on ahead and run right into it, because this video right here leads me to believe that it's definitely going to pass. And you think it may not be bipartisan support? Let's take a look. Here we go.
Mixed messages on assault weapons here in Illinois. In the wake of the mass shooting in Highland Park last month, Democrats have renewed their calls for a national ban on assault weapons.
But as WGN's Ben Bradley reports tonight, their words don't always match their actions.
We are reminded of the fragility and vulnerability of life.
From the first hours after 7 lives were cut short in Highland Park,
there are no words for the kind of evil that shows up at a public celebration of freedom, hides on a roof, and shoots innocent people with an assault rifle.
We can, and we should, and we will do better.
Democratic politicians have talked of the need to ban assault weapons. From CNN,
there's no reason why someone should have 90 bullets at the ready, 30 in each of the cartridges that he used. And that's just something that I don't think civilians should have.
To the White House, their calls have been clear.
It will make a difference. It will save lives, but there's so much more to do.
People who say they stand with the police need to recognize that these are weapons of war.
But inside Illinois' state capitol, it's a different story.
If people are wondering why we don't have an assault weapon ban, it's because the Democrats have dropped the ball, period.
Only 7 states in the District of Columbia currently have an assault weapons ban in place. Illinois is not one of them. WGN Investigates found in the past decade there have been 27 bills submitted that would ban assault-style weapons. None have become law. Most haven't even been voted on.
They're hypocrites.
House Minority Leader Jim Durkin is the rare Republican who says he could support a ban, but Democrats, who hold a supermajority in Springfield and control legislation, they've buried bills in committees.
Assault weapon bans, right now, they're all gung-ho about it, but, J.B. Pritzker, Speaker Welch, and the Senate, they're all heroes after the fact. When they had the chamber for the last 12 years, and these bills were sitting there, introduced, waiting to be called for a hearing, the Democrats refused to bring it up for action.
The sponsor of several bills to ban assault weapons in Illinois, including the most recent to stall in committee, is State Senator Julie Morrison.
If we were all sitting ducks, I'll never do a parade again. And it's the way our world has become, that we can't even go to a community parade anymore.
She was in Highland Park's parade when the shooting started, but despite the personal experience, she declined our request for an interview about Democrats' unwillingness to even vote on their own legislation.
I think we should have one on the federal level.
WGN Investigates sought answers from the state's top Democrat.
There is still the powerful Illinois State Rifle Association, which is a subset of the National Rifle Association that's had a lot of influence over many years. I believe we are in a position to overcome that obstacle and to get an assault weapons ban in our state. I certainly am pushing for it.
Until we have 50-state solution to this, we're still going to continue to see mass gun shootings committed with assault rifles.
Groups working to combat gun violence say state bans only go so far.
I think it helps. You know, it obviously isn't the answer to everything because it's so easy for folks to go across to Indiana, where most of these crime guns being found in Chicago are being purchased from. People will say that this doesn't do anything, but if it does keep somebody, makes it more difficult for somebody who has bad intentions from getting access to one of those military type weapons, like this Cremo did up in Highland Park, I'm fine with that. And I think that's good.
Most of the assault weapons bills didn't get called under former, now indicted House Speaker Mike Madigan. A spokesperson for the current Speaker, Chris Welch, wouldn't say if there are plans to push for action in the near future. Republican candidate for governor Darren Bailey called for a special session in Springfield after the Highland Park shooting to address crime in general. But he does not support gun restrictions. In fact, he's filed legislation to eliminate the need for a firearms owner identification card to buy a gun. Ben Bradley, WGN Investigates.
All right. So what are your thoughts on this? I look at it where this is going to be very troubling. Very, very troubling. I look at it as, matter of fact, let me get to the actual bill itself. There's other stuff in the bill too that people have not paid attention to. So somebody was asking me about House Bill 5859. That's amending the Firearms Restraining Order Act, and it provides that a petitioner may request 1 year rather than a 6-month firearm restraining order. Is that what you were referring to? I think it was 5859. Let's see if there's other stuff in that too. Let's go on ahead and actually read. I can come back to this. It's not going to be an issue. Let's go on ahead and read the legislation. Let me zoom in on this just a little bit more. No, maybe. Let me see what that did. No. Okay, good. Driver's license suspension? Nah, that might be it. I don't know. Car registration suspension? Okay, I'll look at that. We'll look at that. We'll look at that law. We'll look at that law. I think that's important to look at too. I just wanted to get to this one right here. See if you all are seeing this. All right, I'll push it on there right now. Sorry about that, guys. All right, here we go. So let's look through the actual bill. Which is not something that people do a lot. There's a lot of speculation in terms of what the law actually does contain instead of looking at the law itself and just going from there. So let's see if you all can fully see it. Matter of fact, when it gets past to, okay, oh, this is perfect. Let me see how it comes across on the screen here. Oh, good. Yay. Let's do it. All right. Please get the likes up. Please, 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 please. Likes up, please. Likes up, please. It helps the algorithm to get more people in this conversation. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's dive into it. First of all, it was introduced by, come on, fool, Representative Bob Morgan. We saw him on there. All right. It amends the Illinois State Police Law of Civil Administrative Code in Illinois, provides that the Division of Criminal Investigation shall conduct other investigations provided by law. Okay, other people are inboxing me. I got to silence this. Sorry about that. All right. It amends the Firearms Owners Identification Card Act. It eliminates the provisions that permit a person under 21 who is not, and I'll read to you, I'll highlight what I'm reading. Okay. Scroll down, highlight. Now, I can't read your comments, but I will come back to them. Okay. It eliminates the provisions that permit a person under 21 years of age who is not an active duty member of the United States Armed Forces or the Illinois National Guard to obtain a firearm owner's identification card without parental consent. So, what does that mean? Granted, this bill has not passed. It has not passed. But if you have persons, you're a responsible gun owner, okay, your children, okay, for the most part are well-behaved and have no intention on doing what Robert Cremo did, right? Go to ispfsb.com, right, or call the state police call the state police, right? Get the paper application, do what you have to do to get your your under 21-year-old their FOID card, because if this passes in the next year, right, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Okay. Now, do I personally have a problem with the 21 years of age? No comment. That's where I'm at with that. Why am I there? Because one, family matters. Two, it's nothing wrong with a person under the age of 21 going out with a parent and learning how to use firearms responsibly. But those of you all who have been following me, you know I am a huge advocate of family. I'm a huge advocate of working through your traumas, right? Paying attention to your children. You see what I'm saying? It's more to it than just guns. And we're going to have that part of the conversation too. Hopefully you stick around for that, because there are things that we in the Second Amendment community can actually do more than just advocate for firearms and constitutional rights and say, what are we doing to mitigate the issues that cause these mass shootings? Come on now, we got to be fair about this conversation. We got to be fair about this conversation. We got to be fair about that. And that's the problem. It's like we want everybody, look, I don't care about families. I don't care about that. Just give me my guns. Okay. Well, guess what they're doing? They're touching what you only value, because you're ignoring other things that lead to the issues that create the firearm battle. Does that make sense? And I can tell look, I can already tell I'm seeing the numbers drop off. I'm just seeing it, right? First of all, this is a conversation that isn't even wanted on Facebook or any of my Facebook platforms. I am so looking at the numbers. But that's okay. We are going to continue, okay? And this will also be on my podcast, On the Mic with Mike. It's also going to be on Rumble, okay? So, by all means, listen to it there. Definitely a conversation worth having, okay? Let's continue looking at the bill. And by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Amends the Wildlife Code, provides that a person under 21 years of age is hunting under the supervision of an adult. The adult must possess a FOID card. Amends the Firearms Restraining Order Act, provides that, which is 430 ILCS Chapter 430 Illinois Compiled Statutes Act 67, right? Provides that the state's attorney of the county where the petition is filed may act as a friend of the court in any action filed under the act. It also provides that the petitioner may request a 1-year rather than 6-month firearms restraining order. How important is this? Well, one, if you look at the difference between absolutely. Here we go. If you look at the difference between domestic violence restraining orders or orders of protection, right? Typically, you have domestic violence advocates, usually from nonprofit groups, that come in, and the petitioner is pro se. In other words, the state's attorney is not in there arguing on behalf of the petitioner, right? It's pro se, she or he. Why did I use she? Because typically it's a she making these petitions more than it's a he. She would have the burden of proof of being able to establish a reason why the judge would issue the emergency order of protection, setting it out for 21 days, provided that the respondent, the person toward whom the order of protection is, toward, that they have 21 days to come in for a, hearing to determine whether or not it's going to be permanent, called a plenary order of protection hearing, right? 21 days. However, a firearms restraining order is different. How is it different? One, the petitioner is allowed to go to the court and petition. Right now, it's for 6 months restraining order. If this bill passes, it'll be for 1 year. right? And if there is a clear and convincing evidence, we're going to see that as we read the bill later on, right? Clear and convincing evidence, which is not your standard proof beyond a reasonable doubt. That's a conviction. Clear and convincing evidence that the person poses a danger to themselves and or others. They issue the restraining order. Police come out, take your stuff. And unlike what we're going to discuss later, which is clear and present danger, there is a judicial process in this that the respondent is allowed at any time. You only get one time to file a petition to have the order terminated. And that one time better be your best fight ever. You only get one time, right? So at least there is a judicial process, right? Here we go. I'm going to continue to comment, and I'll go back over there and read them, okay? Here we go. Amends the Criminal Code of 2012, makes it unlawful, right, to manufacture, deliver, sell, or purchase, or cause to be manufactured, delivered, sold, or purchased, or cause to be possessed by another an assault weapon attachment, 50 caliber rifle, or 50 caliber cartridge. Makes it unlawful for any person to knowingly possess an assault weapon, 50 caliber rifle, or 50 caliber cartridge 300 days after the effective date of the amendatory act, except weapons that are possessed by those who register those weapons with the Illinois State Police in the time provided, right? So we're going to get into the actual text of the bill, all right? Going to get into the actual text of the bill because there's more stuff, right? I see what you did there, Dave. There's more stuff in this bill people aren't paying attention to. That's why you have to dive into it, okay? Let's go on ahead and dive into it. An act concerning safety. This is a bill for House Bill 5855, okay? The act may be referred to as the Protect Illinois Communities Act, all right? Now, I may skim through some of this stuff, and you're always welcome to go to ilga.gov. Just Google House Bill 5855, and you'll be able to scan through the text yourself for certain things that may be of interest to you. But for the sake of time, we're going to go through this legislation. Now, how do you read Illinois bills? Whenever there is something underlined, those are proposed changes to a bill that's already in place. Those are proposed changes to a bill that's already in place. Whenever you see something stricken through, those are proposed eliminations to a bill that may be already in place. And there are times where when you read this bill, you may see a whole statute, right? A law that is new where the whole thing is underlined. So just to give you some context of what we're seeing. You said, what the F? They aren't grandfathering them without registering them? No, they are not grandfathering these things at all, okay? And we're going to even get to the list of the weapons they consider to be assault weapons and what they are actually banning, okay? Don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button. Let's go on ahead and dive right into it. And please consider $5 donation for more children's books. I've already passed out a lot of books, got more to pass out. Please consider that if you value this. Yes, I am going to ask. Sorry, I got kids programs coming up. They need books. All right, here we go. Let's see. All right, this is about investigating firearms trafficking, firearm-related homicides. I don't think anyone would have any objection to that. You're more than welcome to go back and check on that. There's going to be a commission on implementing the Firearms Restraining Order Act. I don't know why I'm still hearing this stuff. Got so many doggone phones. Here we go. Yeah, that was silenced already. A commission on implementing the Firearms Restraining Order Act composed of at least 12 members to advise on strategies of education and implementation. I don't think anybody would object to that. You're more than welcome to read that if you so choose, okay? If you so choose. Let's keep going. Got it. Got it. Got it. Let me see. Okay. 430 ILCS 65, Section 2, FOID card. Okay. And this is education for some who don't even understand what it is. Let's go on ahead and dive into it. Now, you said, I do not follow unconstitutional laws made by tyrants. Good. Depending upon where you live, it's all talk. You'll say that until the state police shows up. You're not willing to die by it. So cut the cap. Okay. Let's move on. Here we go. No person may acquire, possess, or any firearm, stun gun, or taser within this state without having in his or her possession a firearm owner identification card previously issued in his or her name by the Illinois State Police under the provisions of this act. Okay. Who in Illinois did not know that? No changes to this. Okay. Here we go. It already states that okay, nothing new there. And this just states the different people who are exempt, right? Non-resident hunters, 21 years of age or older, right? So these are the changes, 21 years of age or older. So they are big on the 21, right? Now I know some of y'all are about to say, but you can serve in the military. You can serve in the military at the age of 18 and use a gun then, use a rifle then. Apparently, you've never been in the military. If you have been in the military, you would know, right, that you are not walking around with a weapon on your person. You are not walking around with a rifle on your person. There is an arms room. There is an armorer. You check out the weapon if you're going to the range. You check back in the weapon if you're going to the range. If there's some kind of detail, you're checking it out. You're checking it in. Every company has an arms room. Battalion. No, it's at the company level. Last I checked. Battalion and brigade may have some levels of arm, but those things are tightly secured. So you're not just walking around with a gun. In fact, when you have it, it's dummy corded, right? There are so many restrictions on you having that. You would have to be in the military to understand that, right? So it sounds good. It's not necessarily without controls, right? Let's continue. Here we go. Non-resident hunters, 21 years of age or older. Not much change to that. Here's where you see the strike through. First strike through in the bill. Competitive shooting athletes whose competition firearms are sanctioned by the International Olympic Committee, International Paralympic Committee, International Shooting Sports Federation, U.S. shooting in connection with apparently, right, this was from the 2016 Olympic and Paralympic Games and sanctioned test events leading up to the 2016 Olympic and Paralympic Games. Remember when I believe that was during the 2016, you said an arms room, not an armor. You get what I'm talking about. I'll get to your comment shortly, okay? But let's stay with this. Competitive. Remember we were talking about competing for Chicago to be the host of the 2016 Olympic Games. That was the purpose, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the purpose of that statute or that amendment to the Firearms Owners Identification Card Act. We lost that bid, right? So there's no need for that unless you all can cite a need for it. So that strike through makes sense, right? Here we go. Here we go. Application for a, that's my other phone. Sorry about that. Application for a firearm owner's identification card. Each applicant, and we're right here, 430 ILCS 65, Section 4, right? Application for a firearm owner's identification card. Each applicant for a FOID card must submit an application as made available by the Illinois State Police. You can go to the website, www.ispfsb.com. Again, www.ispfsb.com to apply for your FOID card. Okay, that's the website right there. I'm going to put that there in the event you want to apply while you're watching this. Okay, get on with it. Here we go. $11, right? Submit evidence to the Illinois State Police that this is a strike through, right? Blank, right? he or she is 21 years of age or older, or if he or she is under 21 years of age, that he or she has written consent of his or her parent or legal guardian to possess it, right? To possess the firearm, never been convicted of a misdemeanor, a judge delinquent, all that stuff, and usually that the parent has to have a FOID card. If this bill passes, that is no more. If this bill passes, that is no more, right? Here we go. You said my son is deployed right now and doesn't have his gun all the time. Absolutely, right? Deployment is the only time you will have your weapon at all times. Absolutely. And even on base, certain deployments, certain theaters, certain forward operating bases, TOCs, whatever the case may be, you might not even have it loaded. You'll have your full complement of magazines, 7, right? Depending, unless things have changed, but your magazines fully loaded, but you will not have one in the magazine well, and you will not have one in the chamber, right? Unless you're on certain assignments, right? Same thing with your pistol. You will have your magazines on you, but it will be dummy corded. All right. Here we go again. www.ispfsb.com. Go on ahead and apply for your FOID card. I'd say do it now. Okay. Here we go. He or she is 21 years of age or older. Right. Here we go. You see they are striking through written consent of parent or legal guardian. Do it now before December 31st or before January 1st. Right. You're more than welcome to go on ahead and read the rest of this. Nothing has really changed about this. Just for the sake of time, I'm going through some of the things that you may not have considered. Okay, you may not have considered or did not read. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe button, please. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. More than welcome to come through. Good. Okay. Each applicant for a firearm owner's identification card who is over the age of 18 shall furnish. I guess they forgot to strike through that part too. Right. Shall furnish to the Illinois State Police either his driver's license or Illinois identification card except as provided in subsection 810. Right. Keep going. There is a part that is new in this bill. All right, here we go. Beginning January 2023, each applicant for the issuance of an Illinois firearms owner's identification card may include, not shall, may include a full set of fingerprints in electronic format to the Illinois State Police, unless you've already provided those full set of fingerprints trying to get your concealed carry. Now, those of you all who know about the fingerprinting for the concealed carry, you understand, right? You understand that, I'll read your comment shortly, you understand that the fingerprints pretty much expedite or is said to have expedited how fast you get your concealed carry license. I wonder if the fingerprints expedite how fast you get your FOID card. Typically, FOID card turnarounds are between 30 to 45 days, right? With those fingerprints, would it be faster? Oh, no. We'll see, okay? We'll see. But remember, during the Henry Platt, I think that's what it's called, Henry Platt situation, right, in Aurora, Illinois, where there was an active shooting up there, right? And there was the Fix the FOID Act. How many of you all remember the Fix the FOID Act, right? If you remember that, remember they were talking about mandating fingerprinting for FOID cards. Not gonna lie, I honestly believe you need to get fingerprinted, right? I honestly believe you need to get fingerprinted. I'm not against it. What are your thoughts? Go on ahead and, if you're for it, type the number 1. If you're against it, type the number 2. If you're against it, please speak your piece. I'm not going to argue with you, right? If you're for fingerprinting, type the number 1. Sorry about that. If you're for fingerprinting, type the number 1. If you're against it, type the number 2. Okay. A targeted Christian says 2. Todd says 1. I'm sure a targeted Christian, you're probably going on text, history, tradition, pursuant to the United States Supreme Court case, New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, right? Text, history, and tradition. I understand it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay. Let's continue. Fingerprints must be transmitted through a live scan fingerprint vendor licensed by the Department of Financial and Professional Regulation. Nothing new there. I'm a licensed fingerprint vendor myself, right? The fingerprint shall be checked against the fingerprint records now and hereafter filed with the Illinois State Police and the Federal Bureau of Investigation criminal history record databases. Remember the situation with the Fix the FOID, right? The situation with the Fix the FOID. Remember the situation that happened with the person who was the active shooter in that situation, right? Who, by the way, was black, right? For those of you all who say we don't do that, right? Tried to apply, got his FOID card, tried to apply for his concealed carry, wasn't allowed, didn't do anything to his FOID. He still possessed the guns, pum, 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 after being terminated, right? Those of you all who remember my previous shows that we've talked about, you remember when I talked about places where, you know, active shootings happen, the workplace, okay? The workplace. I get it, Davin. It's all good. Speak your truth. Speak what you believe, right? Here we go. Okay. Okay, nothing there. All right, nothing there. All right, here we go. Grounds for denial or revocation. The Illinois State Police has the authority to deny an application for or to revoke and seize a firearm owner's identification card previously issued under this act only if the Illinois State Police finds that the applicant or the person to whom such card was issued is or was at the time of issuance a person under the age of 21 years old who has been convicted of a misdemeanor other than a traffic offense or adjudged delinquent, which is the equivalent of a guilty verdict and a judgment or a judgment of conviction, right? B, blank, right? Person under the age of 21. They struck through that because there's no need for that if this bill passes, right? Person under the age of 21, right? Got that. Here we go. C, a person convicted of a felony under the laws of this or any other jurisdiction. Felony is a crime where the sentence imposed ranges from 1 year or more in a county or state penitentiary up to and including the death penalty. Just for those of you all who don't know the statutory definition of a felony. I just gave it to you layman's terms, right? D, a person addicted to narcotics. E, a person who has been a patient of a mental health facility within the past 5 years, or a person who has been a patient in a mental health facility more than 5 years ago who has not received the certification required under subsection U of this section, right? Keep reading the rest of it because it talks about active law enforcement officers, right? Here we go. F, 8F. We're going to talk about this coming up. Clear and present danger, okay? Clear and present danger. Hopefully you all are still sticking around, okay, to continue to get this education, right? 8F, a person whose mental condition is of such a nature that it poses a clear and present danger to the applicant, any other person or persons, or the community. There have been a lot of revocations that has taken place since August of 2022 pursuant to 8F of the FOID Card Act. We are going to talk about that, and why I understand what actually took place. I understand it. I'm going to explain it. Okay. G, a person who has an intellectual disability. H, a person who intentionally makes a false statement in the FOID card application, right? I, a non-citizen who is unlawfully present in the United States under the laws of the United States. I-5, a non-citizen who has been admitted to the United States under a non-immigrant visa, except that this subsection does not apply to any non-citizen who has been lawfully admitted to the United States under a non-immigrant visa. If you guys can continue to read the rest of this. Got it. Here we go. K, because J is blank. Read it. K, a person who has been convicted within the past 5 years of battery, assault, aggravated assault, violation of an order of protection, or a substantially similar offense in another jurisdiction in which a firearm was used or possessed. L, a person who has been convicted of domestic battery, aggravated domestic battery, or a substantially similar offense in another jurisdiction committed before or after January 1, 2012, the effective date of Public Act 97-158. If the applicant who has been previously issued a FOID card under this act knowingly and intelligently waives the right to have an offense described in this paragraph, L, tried by a jury, and by guilty plea or otherwise results in a conviction of an offense in which a domestic relationship is not a required element of the offense, but in which a determination of the applicability of Title 18 United States Code, Section 922 G9 is made under Section 112A-11.1 of the Code of Criminal Procedure of 1963, an entry by the court of a judgment of conviction for that offense shall be grounds for denying an application for and for revoking and seizing a firearms owner's identification card previously issued to a person under this act. Long and short of it, some people plea. Some people plea to an offense because they don't want long prison sentences. But what you don't understand is a plea, while that may give you a lesser prison sentence, is still a plea of guilty where you're waiving your rights, for the most part, to claim innocent, right? You got to be careful when you're making those pleas. A person who is prohibited from acquiring or possessing firearms or ammunition by Illinois statute or by federal law, a minor subject to a petition filed by Section 5-520 of the Juvenile Court Act, alleging that the minor is a delinquent minor for the commission of offense that, if committed by an adult, would be a felony. A lot of people fall prey to this one. Why is that the case that a lot of people fall prey to this one? Well, what I did was I was a juvenile when I did what I did. I'm an adult now. I'm a Christian. I gave my life to Christ. Christ saved me. Why won't you? Well, if you had committed that particular offense and it was a felony as an adult, they consider that same offense, even though you're a juvenile, they give it equal weight, right? So just take that into consideration. This is why I humbly ask people continuously and instruct them, get your background expunged before you apply. No one listens. No one listens. No one listens. Here we go. A person who has been judged a delinquent minor under the Juvenile Court Act of 1987 for a commission that, if the offense had been committed by an adult, would be a felony. A person who is not a resident of this state of Illinois. You can only be subject to the FOID card if you are a resident of this state or you are employed in a capacity where it requires you to use a firearm, okay? A person who has been adjudicated as a person with a mental disability, a person who has been found to have a developmental disability, a person involuntarily admitted to a mental health facility. So, when your mama took you to Hartgrove when she thought you were a bad kid, when in fact she could have been a miseducated parent who didn't understand that behavior is a symptom, not the problem itself, and she didn't know what to do. So she committed you to Hartgrove Hospital or any one of the behavioral mental health hospitals, and now you're grown, you're free, so you should be good, right? There's a record that was created, and you're going to have to go through a mental health evaluation. So parents, don't do that to your kids. Don't mess up their future because of this. Does that make sense? Right? Hopefully you all are still with me. Okay, let's continue to push. A person who has had his or her firearms owner's identification card revoked or denied under subsection E of this section or item 4 of paragraph 2, subsection A of section 4 of this act because he or she was a patient in a mental health facility as provided by subsection E of this section shall not be permitted to obtain a FOID card after a 5-year period has lapsed, right? Unless she or he has received a mental health evaluation by a physician, clinical psychologist, or qualified examiner, as those terms are defined in the Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities Code. So let me tell you all something. If this applies to you and you need a mental health examiner, let me know. Let me know. I do have some clinical psychologists that I have been working with during this period who will be glad to help you, provided you're qualified. Not everybody with these issues should have a gun. I'm not in disagreement of that. I don't disagree with that. Okay? Provided you really have a mental health issue. Because a person having a crazy moment and a crazy person exhibits the same symptoms in that moment. Okay? Here we go. Read the rest of it. Commencement of an action, firearm restraining order. I want to read this. Let me see if let me go push through the state. Okay, we talked about that. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's not skip past this. But let me read the comments before we continue to go. Right? You said can be crazy or just hard-headed. Absolutely. Absolutely. You get it, Todd. Right? Here we go. 2, because I feel, even with my fingerprint, what are they really doing with it? Background check. And holding your fingerprint. I mean, it's, I get it. I'm not disputing it. I'm just letting you know what they do with it, Dave asked a wonderful question. I wonder what ratio of FOID card holders versus non-holders commit crimes. Speaking of unlocking gun safes, right? Speaking of unlocking gun safes, MaxSafes.com. MaxSafes.com. Y'all, that was a good one, William. I swear you must have been reading my mind. You must have been reading my mind because here I have the Max gun safe, right? Yeah, it's been a minute since you all seen me promote this, right? It's been, you said it's very important to know. We're going to get to it, Sun-Kissed Queen, right? The fingers are at it again. These are all what? Training props, training tools. But look at how many I got there, right? This is not a biometric fingerprint safe. This reads the veins in your fingertips. This reads the veins in your fingertips. In fact, the glass is so deep down inside, if you're touching it, you're doing it wrong, okay? This has 3 methods of entry. MaxSafes.com. If you're watching by YouTube, the link is in the description, right? Just simple. Put it in there, and it opens it up. You can register 50 finger veins, 50 finger veins, right? In the event it doesn't register, I'll mess that up. There we go. That's what happens when you mess it up. That's hot sauce tested and everything. Hot sauce tested and everything. Here we go. I just kept the code simple. Don't make it that simple. It should not be that simple. Penrose family, I want that safe. There we go. The link is in the comments. I'm going to grab the link. I'm going to put the link in the comments, but the link is in the description. Penrose family, You're watching it by, is that my friends, the Penrose? Hey, what's going on? What's going on? All right, here we go. Here we go. Finger in there, opens up, right? And as you see, some of you all were like, Mike, is it making noise? Is it silent? I silenced it. I silenced it, right? Here we go. It also has key entry, touchpad entry, and finger vein. Not fingerprint, finger vein. It opens it up. MaxSafes.com. Link is in the description. Link is in the description, okay? There are a lot of benefits that come to that safe, okay? We'll discuss those a little bit later, okay? MaxSafes.com. Link in the description. Link in the description, okay? Let's go. You said the only other who will open on command of the finger. Listen, it's the only thing you can finger. And if it's the right finger, it's got gifts in the inside. Hey, Flip, I'm live on my show. You want me to call you back in a little bit? Yeah, text it to me and I got you. Okay, bro. All right. My partner, I haven't spoken to him in a long time, okay? So when he called, yeah, that was worth breaking through. Chicago Mike the Shooter, what's going on? It's the only finger you can touch where when you put it, come on, y'all. Come on. Should be crying, but I just can't. Oh. Some of y'all about to unfollow me right now. Should be crying, but oh. Yeah, just should be crying. You gun control for you to this woman's work. This woman's work. Put it in. MaxSafes.com. Order yours today. Okay, let's get back to it. Let's get. Oh my God. Let's get back to it. Is Chicago Southside said, Instructor Mike, attorney at law. By the way, I do expungements too. I do expungements too. So if you need expungements done, all right, let's go on ahead and get that going. All right, let's get back to this. By the way, those of you all who are joining, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications. Those of you all who are watching and normally follow me, do me a favor. Undo that bell, hit it again. Let YouTube know that you want to know whenever I come live, whenever I not come live. See, they should be crying, but I just can't let it show. Oh, and that's what happens when access is denied. Yes means yes. No means no. Shit, sometimes you gotta touch other no with the fit. Should be this woman's work. This woman's work. What's up, John? What's up, man? Friend of the show, as always. Those of you all who know Guardian Concepts, go check out John Hamperkamp. Okay, does a great job. Yeah. Oh, those of you all who, undo the bell, redo the bell. Sometimes YouTube, will sit there and do their thing, the thing that causes people not to see when notifications and stuff like that, notifications don't, you don't get it all the time when I post, right? So make sure you undo the bell and do the bell. Make sure it says all, so you get all that. I'm going to be posting more content, stuff like that, going live, talking about more things, putting fingers in holes that you have access to, like MaxSafes.com. Should be crying, but no. That's what happens when you don't do it right. What happened? What did he say? Sometimes sex is overrated, but they just not doing it right. Shouts out to Ludacris. Should be no. Here we go. Now it's in there, right? In fairness, you shouldn't try to order us, do that. You got to, come on now. If an airplane has to land on the runway right, do you have to use the, if you want to register these, I do. Yes, I do have a code if you order the safe, and I do get credit. If you want to register these fingers and you use them, just one of them, you could do that. You don't have to always use the, you could. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. I'm definitely going to put this on all the platforms. This woman's work. This woman's work. Put it in the right hole. Let's keep going. All right. Don't talk about me, y'all. Don't talk about me. Here we go. Is there anything under the CCL? Do you know the CCL violation when the individual has over 100 grams? Thank you, Dale. I appreciate that. Do you know the CCL violation when the individual has over 100 grams of cannabis? Is there anything under the CCL Act or FOID? I'm going to answer his question. This is my friend. They do have a valid concealed carry license, correct? Question mark. I don't think there's a violation that is gram dependent. Okay. I think it's just being in possession of the firearm. Wait a minute. All right, here we go. We're going to analyze this. Okay, so the question that he posed to me was, do you know the CCL violation when an individual has over 100 grams of cannabis? So this is obviously a manufacture and delivery of cannabis. All right. No. To my recollection, the only way that, okay, I don't think there's a violation that is gram dependent, period. Typically, when it's a violation under 430 ILCS 66, it has something to do with being under the influence of a narcotic or a intoxicating compound while in the possession of the firearm, period. If they have a valid concealed carry license and a valid FOID card and they are committing a crime, the gun is subject to being confiscated, obviously because of the arrest, period. The arrest being a felony is going to trigger a revocation under 18 USC 922. Hold on. But the amount of a controlled substance or cannabis does not have anything directly to do with carrying a concealed firearm at the same time, unless they're under the influence of it, period. Then it violates certain provisions of the Concealed Carry Act. All right. Yeah. As y'all can see, you say you got to go, got to get up. All right, cool. Yeah. And I could be wrong. Usually I'm not. Because I checked the statute and it doesn't have anything to do with, like, in his situation that he told me, 100 grams. Yeah, that's definitely manufacture and delivery. But as long as he wasn't under the influence, then arrest him, right? And then the arrest is going to trigger a revocation, but it's not going to violate the Concealed Carry Act itself. This wasn't a DUI, was it? Question mark. Just a straight manufacture and delivery? Question mark. I ain't been to police since 2013, and I still know how to do the job. I mean, I teach it all the time. So, and We went to the academy together. That's why I interrupted the show to answer him. Whenever he calls me, it's important. Sorry. I haven't been blue since 2013, but I'm still blue for sure. Here we go. Blue suit, by the way. Yeah. Absolutely. Period. Absolutely. Thank you for asking me. Period. It's good to hear from you. Period. I know you're out there kicking ass, not physically because I'm live, but stay safe, my friend. All right. Good shit. Good shit. You said, Mike, I'm going to buy a safe, but I don't see your code. Not going to buy if you don't get credit. Yes. Let me give you that link. I want you to get that link. And I appreciate you. I'll drop the link in the comments. I don't know. It's going to be too much. Is that the right one? Yeah. I'll drop the link in the comments so that way you get it directly. Yeah, and it's not that big of a link anyway. So yeah, I'll drop the link in the comments. For those of you all who want it, yo mama. Not really. Not your mama. I'm not talking about your mama. Appreciate you all. We're not gonna make this show too long because I do need to, take care of things. I appreciate you, Todd. Really do. Just drop the link in the comments. Bam, right there. Let me know if you see it. Just dropped. You said I got my CCW safe insurance because of you. I appreciate you. Outstanding. For those of you all who need concealed carry, not insurance, legal services product, ccwsafe.com. Link in the description. If you want it, let me know. I'll drop it. Stuff as low as $19 a month, right? You just blew $19 today on something you probably didn't even need, but it was good for you, right? Page not found error. Uh-oh. We can't have that. No. Wait a minute. Let me check that link. Sorry about that. Let me check that link. Oh, wow. We're going to have to contact them. All right. Hold off on that, Todd. Hold off on that because it said page not found. Yeah. We're going to have to find out what's up with that. If you still want to buy the safe, maxsafes.com, but I'm going to have to talk to them and find out WTF, what's going on here. Yeah, not insurance. It's a legal services product. Legal services product. I swear by CCW Safe. Okay. For me, it's the best product that's out there that really has your back when you need it. When you need it, right? Don't go looking for stuff to get into, but it really has your back when you need it. Okay. Now that link works. But we're going to have to talk to maxsafes.com. Now, if you want to get that safe, don't wait for my code. Go ahead and get it yourself. But Todd said he'll wait. All right, I'm going to go. Thank you. I appreciate that, Todd. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad. Nah, I know you're not giving bad info, but I'm humbled that you checked with me, period. I appreciate that, period. Just like in the academy, period, LOL. All right, here we go. Let's get back to it. I want to make good use of your time. Sorry about that. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. All right, that I like that. That's good. Hey, you can't have resources without relationships. That makes sense? Can't have resources without relationships. Speaking of relationships, should be crying, but I just can't let it show. Is it? Oh, wrong finger. You got to make sure you finger it right. Okay. All right. Get it. MaxSafes.com if you want to wait for the link when I email them tonight to make sure the link works. Dude. Better give me the right link. I got to log in and see. All right. Here we go. Let's get back to it. All right. Let's get to this. Here we go. Firearms Restraining Order Act. Title 430, Illinois Compiled Statutes, Act 67, Section 10. Right? Am I going ahead of the act? No. Okay, I'm not going ahead of it. Here we go. Commencement of action or procedure. An action for firearms restraining order is commenced by filing a verified petition for a firearms restraining order in any circuit court. What does that let you know that this is? This is a judicial process. Judicial. Okay? Judicial. So that means you have someone you can go to and speak to in a timely manner or untimely manner, but there's a date, right? Here we go. A petition filed for a firearms restraining order may be filed in 1, any county where the respondent resides, or 2, any county where an incident occurred that involved the respondent posing an immediate and present danger of causing personal injury to the respondent, to yourself, or another, by having his or in her control, I read that wrong, sorry, in his or her control or custody, or purchasing, possessing, or receiving a firearm, ammunition, or firearm parts that could be assembled to make an operable firearm. Thanks for you all that want to rebuild firearms, right? No fee shall be charged by the clerk for filing, amending, vacating, certifying, printing, or photocopying petitions or orders, or for issuing alias summons, or for any related filing service. No fee shall be charged by the sheriff or other law enforcement for service by the sheriff or law enforcement of a petition, rule, motion, or an order in an action commenced under this section. The court shall provide, through the office of the clerk of the court, simplified forms and clerical assistance to help with the writing and filing of a petition under this section by any person not represented by counsel. In addition, that assistance may be provided by the state's attorney. This is where it is different, unlike that of an emergency order of protection. The state's attorney, the state's attorney doesn't help in the writing of the petition, but the state's attorney does review it. I know that personally. The state's attorney does not file it, but the state's attorney does review it. In this situation, they are definitely going to be involved heavily in that firearms restraining order process. The state's attorney of the county where the petition is filed may act as a friend of the court in any action filed under this act. An assistant state's attorney of the county where the petition is filed may be appointed as friend of the court to assist a petitioner in court regarding firearms restraining orders. In other words, the state's attorney can argue for you. Not the case for an emergency order of protection. State's attorney may review it, but they can't argue it for you, or they traditionally don't. It's a pro se petition, so you are appearing before the court. In this one, state's attorney is doing it on your behalf. If they, they're going to do it. Trust me, they're going to do it. And you can see it's underlined, so that's an addendum, right? That's an add-on to the existing bill. Instead of it being 6-month orders, now it's going to be 1-year orders, provided the bill is passed into law. A petitioner may request a strike-through, 6-month, 1-year firearm restraining order by filing an affidavit or verified pleading alleging that the respondent poses a significant danger of causing personal injury to himself, herself, themselves, itself, whatever, or another in the future or in the near future by having in his or her custody or control, purchasing, possessing, or receiving a firearm, ammunition, and firearm parts that could be assembled to make an operable firearm. Ooh, this one's going to hurt. The petition shall also describe the number, types, and locations of any firearms, ammunition, and firearm parts that could be assembled to make an operable firearm presently believed by the petitioner to be possessed or controlled by the respondent. So if you're significant other is all in your business and knows about these firearms, it makes it rather easy. If the respondent is alleged to pose a significant danger of causing personal injury to an intimate partner, or intimate partner is alleged to have been the target of a threat of an act of violence by the respondent, the petitioner shall make a good faith effort to provide notice to any and all intimate partners of the respondent. So that means they can get the side chicks involved. Oh, your side chick's gonna snitch on your ass. Oh my God. They shall make a good faith effort to provide notice to any and all intimate partners of the respondent. Right? The notice must include that the petitioner intends to petition the court for a 1-year firearms restraining order, and if the petitioner is a law enforcement officer, referral to the relevant domestic violence or stalking advocacy or counseling resources if appropriate. Petitioner shall attest to having provided the notice in the filed affidavit or verified pleading. If after making a good faith effort, the petitioner is unable to provide notice to any and all intimate partners, the affidavit or verified pleading should describe what efforts were made. Right? Okay, here's part of the, and I might have misinterpreted that wrong. They're not going to get all, I think all the intimate part, you get what I'm saying. Every person who files a petition for a 1-year firearms restraining order, knowing the information provided to the court at any hearing or in the affidavit or verified pleading to be false, is guilty of perjury under section 32-2 of the Criminal Code of 2012. Now, let me ask you a question. How many of you all think that they are going to prosecute somebody for lying? How many of you all think they're going to prosecute someone for lying? Guess what? They're not. So the statute looks good. They're not going to do it. You can forget it. It's not going to happen. Their argument is going to be, well, if we prosecute one for lying, that'll keep other people from coming forward who may not have all the information but can come with what they have, and we can make a case. So this is why you should walk away. When I say what I say what I say for a reason. Never love anyone so hard you lose yourself. Don't be afraid to walk away. Walk away now or you won't walk away later. I'm just telling you. All right, here we go. Under receipt of a petition for a 1-year firearms restraining order, the court shall order a hearing within 30 days in determining whether to issue a firearms restraining order under this section. The court shall consider evidence, including but not limited to the following. This is important. The unlawful and reckless use or display or brandishing of a firearm, ammunition, and firearm parts that could be assembled to make an operable firearm by the respondent. Stop playing with your firearms around her or him or them or whatever the preferred pronouns they seek to be identified as. Stop playing with the firearm around them, because they could be recording and may have intentions when you break up with them, leave them, hurt them, don't agree with them, whatever, to take that evidence and use it against you. You may think you're playing. You don't understand the setup. Do what you want. I'm just a I'm just advising you or educating you. This is not legal advice, and I'm not an attorney. Okay? Do what you want. The history of use, attempted use, or threatened use of physical force by the respondent against another person. They didn't stipulate who that person was. They just said another person. Any prior arrest of the respondent for a felony offense. I cannot emphasize enough to get expungements. Get expungements. Why am I telling you this? Just because you beat that case doesn't mean there isn't a record. Get the matter expunged. Or don't. Do what you want. Here we go. Evidence of abuse of controlled substances or alcohol by the respondent. Keep getting drunk around her. Keep getting drunk around him. They're not going to take into consideration whether or not she uses a lot of alcohol or controlled substances. That's not in the petition. They're just going to consider yours. Right? A recent threat of violence or act of violence by the respondent directed towards himself, herself, or another. Y'all keep playing around if you want to. Violation of the emergency order of protection issued under Section 217 of the Illinois Domestic Violence Act of 86 or Section 112A-17 of the Code of Criminal Procedure of 1963, or an order of protection issued under Section 214 of the Illinois Domestic Violence Act of 86 and the same aforementioned section of the Code of Criminal Procedure of 1963. 7. A pattern of violent acts or violent threats, including but not limited to threats of violence or acts of violence by the respondent directed towards himself, herself, or another. At the hearing, the petitioner shall have the burden of proof of proving by clear and convincing evidence. Here is the legal standard. It's not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not the preponderance of the evidence, which is a civil standard and standards that's used in certain criminal procedures. But clear and convincing. So if proof beyond a reasonable doubt is 95%, if preponderance of the evidence is 51%, I would argue clear and convincing evidence is 52%. Somebody who's a lawyer tell me I'm right or wrong, right? Tell me I'm right or wrong. And if I'm wrong, I will issue a retraction, right? Clear and convincing evidence that the respondent poses a significant danger of personal injury to himself, herself, or another by having in his or her custody or control, purchasing, possessing, or receiving a firearm, ammunition, or parts that could be assembled to make an operable firearm. If the court finds, that there is clear and convincing evidence to issue a firearms restraining order, the court shall issue, not a may issue, shall issue a firearms restraining order that shall be in effect for 1 year, new legislation, currently 6 months, subject to renewal under Section 45 of this act or termination of this act. If the court issues a 1 year firearms restraining order, it shall, upon a finding of probable cause, that the defendant, there's that probable cause, right, which is a lesser standard. Probable cause is less, right? Probable cause is less. I might say that's 45%, right? That the respondent possesses firearms, ammunition, and firearm parts that could be assembled to make an operable firearm, issue a search warrant directing law enforcement to seize your firearms, ammunition, and firearm parts that could be assembled to make an operable firearm. The court may, as part of the warrant, direct law enforcement to search your residence or other places where the court finds that there is probable cause to believe that you are likely to possess of firearms ammunition, firearm parts that could be assembled to make an operable firearm. A return of the search warrant shall be filed by law enforcement agencies within 4 days thereafter, setting forth the time, date, and location that the search warrant was executed and what items, if any, were seized. Okay. The 1-year firearms restraining order shall require that the respondent refrain from having the firearms in your possession. Firearm card gets revoked, right? You comply with the FOID Card Act, right? Except as otherwise provided in subsection I-5 of this section, upon expiration of the period of safekeeping, if the firearms, ammunition, or parts or the FOID card cannot be returned to the respondent because the respondent cannot be located, fails to respond to request to retrieve the firearms, ammunition, or firearm parts that could be assembled to make a firearm, or is lawfully not eligible to possess, not lawfully eligible to possess a firearm, ammo, or firearm parts. There's a lot of redundancy. You got to read through that. Here we go. The court may order the local law enforcement to destroy your firearms, ammo, parts, use the firearms parts for training purposes, right? Or use the firearms as deemed appropriate by local law enforcement. So if you find yourself subject to one of these orders, right? If you find yourself subject to one of these orders and it terminates, they're going to contact you to come get your guns. If you don't go get them, guess what? They just got some new guns. You're going to see them wearing it. They're going to wear your 6 Sauer P320 X Compact. All right, here we go. You all can read the rest of this. I got to get to another part in this order that can help you. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe button. Thank you all for sticking around. I'll drop the link shortly. All right, here we go. The person petitioning for the return of his or her firearm, ammunition, and parts, you know the rest, right, must swear or affirm by affidavit that he or she, 1, is the lawful owner of the firearm, ammunition, and firearm parts that could be easily assembled to make an operable firearm. 2, shall not transfer the firearm, ammo, to the respondent. 3, will store the firearm or ammo, right, so that the respondent does not have access or control of that firearm, right? So 9 times out of 10, let's just say it's a family member who really loves you, thinks you're going through something, and they petition it. The court can allow them to possess those firearms to hold them for safekeeping. I guess that's good. Really, it's touch and go. But I guess that's good. I can see the good part in that. Here we go. When the court issues the firearm restraining order, the court shall inform the respondent that he or she is entitled to 1 hearing. Just one hearing during the period of the order to request a termination of the order under Section 45 of this act, and shall provide a respondent with a form to request the hearing. If the court does not issue a firearms restraining order at the hearing, the court shall dissolve any emergency firearms restraining order then in effect, which is typically standard for those types of things, right? That is standard. Here we go. And I will have this up in segments and clips so you can come back and watch a shorter version of this long video. I understand it's late. Some of y'all gotta go to bed. Me too, right? Chapter 430, Illinois Compiled Statutes, Act 67, Section 45, termination and renewal. A person subject to a firearms restraining order issued under this act may submit, here we go, 1 written request at any time during the effective period of the order for a hearing to terminate the order. So there's no waiting period, right? No waiting period to submit the request. The respondent shall have the burden of proving by a preponderance of the evidence. So if you notice the change in standards, let's talk about it. Change in standards. The petitioner has to have more proof than the respondent. Ask legal experts. I am not that. I just have an understanding. I am not an attorney. This is not legal advice. But clear and convincing evidence is a higher standard by a little bit, by a smidgen of pigeon of a standard. Speaking of fingers, no. Okay, let's try it again. No again. It's not time. It's time. It's time. MaxSaves.com. Wait till my link work. Wait till my link work. Wait till my link work. You put it in the hole, you get charged, and then you got a firearm restraining order, and then all of a sudden, what's up, JFB? The battery is not low. Don't be talking about my stuff. Don't be talking about the stuff. You just put it in the hole wrong. Ludacris said sex is overrated, but they just not doing it right. Okay? Here we go. Clear and convincing evidence is higher than preponderance of the evidence, right? The respondent shall have the burden of proof by proving by a preponderance of the evidence that the respondent does not pose a danger of causing personal injury to himself, herself, or another in the near future by having in his or her custody, control, purchasing, possessing, receiving a firearm, ammo, or parts that can help you assemble an operable firearm. If the court finds after the hearing that the respondent has met his or her burden, the court shall terminate the order. A petitioner may request. Y'all gonna be going back and forth. Y'all gonna be going back and forth. Oh, no, he didn't. A petitioner may request a renewal of a firearms restraining order after any time within 3 months before the expiration of the firearms restraining order. Oh, my God. Have you ever seen back and forth orders of protection? Jesus, those things are just horrible. So if you get a firearms restraining order and you're okay, like you're really sane, but you just recognize this person has weaponized these powers against you, stay away from them forever. They're jeopardizing your ability to protect yourself. Maybe not forever. Forever, asterisks. Here's a suggestion. Don't be afraid of going to see a forensic psychologist. Don't be afraid of going to get the mental health eval. I would argue that would help your case. Do what you want, but go get the mental health eval. If you find yourself going under one of these, go get the mental health eval. Let a person who's qualified to tell you that you're cool, that you're okay, tell you that you're okay. Okay? I mean, do what you want. Do what you want, right? Here we go. All right. Good. The court finds after a hearing that the respondent has met his or her burden, the court shall terminate the order. Right? We already talked about B. The court shall, after notice and a hearing, renew a firearms restraining order if the petitioner proves, there we go, by clear and convincing evidence, which is a higher standard than the preponderance of it, that the respondent continues to pose a danger of causing personal injury to himself, herself, or another, right? So you can read the rest of this. Okay? Let's see what else is there worth mentioning. So I can go on to the next section before we get to that 2-hour mark. Again, more 21 stuff, youth hunting and trapping license. More hunting stuff. You're more than welcome to read that. Unlawful use of a weapon. We got to get to the weapons that's named assault weapons. That's important. I'm just skimming through it. This is no changes here. So if you want to read the UUW, 720 ILCS 5, section 24. Sorry, sinuses. All right, here we go. This is an addendum to it. Manufactures, possesses, or sells, or offers to sell, purchase, manufacture, import, transfer, or use any manual, power-driven, electronic, or other device that is designed to and functions to increase the rate of fire of a semi-automatic firearm when the device is attached to the firearm. You know what that means? Switches. Oh, they've been popular. Any part of a semi-automatic firearm or combination of parts that is designed to and functions to increase the rate of fire of a semi-automatic firearm by eliminating the need for the operator of the firearm to make a separate movement for each individual function of the trigger, switches, or any other device, part, kit, tool, accessory, or combination of parts that is designed and functions to increase the rate of fire of a semi-automatic above the standard rate of fire for semi-automatic firearms that is not equipped with that device, part, or a combination of parts. Moving on. Oh, God, I'm getting tired. Y'all know it. You already know it. When there's bags on the eyes, live goes down and fries. Surprise, go to sleep, big thighs. Too much. Sorry, too much. All right, here we go. Section 24-9, new. Didn't I tell y'all if it was a new section, what was going to happen? You'll see it say new. I did not say that, but that's the case. And then you'll see the whole section. This is going to be long. Maybe not too long. Hopefully y'all sticking with me. We back up to 52 again. Let's go. JFB, you asked me, do I think it will pass? Yes, it's going to pass. It is going to pass. It's going to pass. Some people are filing witness slips. Got to say, I filed a witness slip too, opposing it. Right? I did. Promise I did. I got the email to prove it. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. They have enough people to make it happen. And by I mean people, I mean state senators and House representatives. I got a secret to tell y'all, but I can't because it's a secret. I can't tell you. But I know there are some interested parties. Keep reading, Michael. Don't you do it. 720 ILCS 5, Section 24-1.9, manufacture, possession, delivery, sale, and purchase of assault weapons, 50 caliber rifles, and 50 caliber cartridges. Definition in this section: assault pistol means any of the following or a copy regardless of the producer or manufacturer. AA Arms AP9 pistol, Armalite M15 11.5 pistol. I would imagine that's the barrel length. Beretta 93R pistol, Bushmaster pistol, Claridge High-Tech pistol, D-Max Industries pistol, EKO Cobra pistol, Encom Mark IV MP9 or MP45 pistol. Those are variants of HK. Right, yeah, you know it. Here we go. Heckler & Koch MP5K, MP7, SP89, VP70 pistol, Holmes MP83 pistol. Some of y'all Googling it right now with your fingers. Speaking of finger, not right now. We'll come back to it. Here we go. Ingram Mac 10, okay, Mac 11 pistol and variations, including the Partisan Avenger and the S. How many of y'all about to go look this up? How many of y'all about to go look this up? How many of y'all about to go look this up? Y'all like, shit, what is a pause type pistol? I kind of want to know who let the dogs out. Pause type pistol. It's not what it means. Scorpion, okay? Scorpion pistol. Spectre, double action pistol. Sile, FIE, Mitchell. Hey, moment of honesty. Some of these pistols, I don't even know what they are. Oh my God. Some of them I do. Some of them I don't. What's this? Stechkin automatic pistol. Stayer tactical pistol. Uzi pistol. Who doesn't know what Uzi is, right? Weaver Arms Nighthawk pistol. Wilkinson Linda pistol. You know what they did? They went through all the y'all ain't shit. They went through all the gun buybacks. They went through all the gun. Oh my God. They went through all the gun buybacks, and they looked at all those guns that people turned in, shit they just didn't even want, and said, that's a good idea. Let's add this to the list. As a firearms trainer gunsmith, I have one question. Who created the term assault pistol? Fuck, I don't know. Hey, Joshua, I don't know. Educate me if you do. I don't know. Assault shotgun is in it. Some of y'all are reading ahead. Here we go. Oh, you saw it right there. Assault shotgun or rifle means the following or a copy, regardless of the producer or the manufacturer. And I want you to understand how slick they made it. They didn't define the term. They just listed the pistol or the rifle. And that's the definition. They didn't define the function or operation. They just listed the name as the definition. Did y'all see that? Here we go. American Arms Spectre dust semi-automatic carbine, right? AR-10, AR-15, AR-70, and those of you who are like, AR doesn't mean assault rifle, it means Armalite. Well, then they listed it. Armalite M15. Y'all should, that's what y'all get for trying to make shit technically correct. This is when being technically correct backfires, right? No. Let's educate the public on what it means. And here they are like, all right, what does it mean? Oh my God, fuck. Here we go. Was it Automat? That's supposed to be you. It's not, but you get it, right? It's Russian. Kalashnikov semi-automatic rifle in any form. They got smart with this one, right? In any form. So that's an AK, right? Semi-automatic rifle in any form, including the AK-47 in all forms. ALL, stain lifting. That's including the Stava M85. Oh, about to sell it. Here we go. I'm not reading that. Algemic, that's what it looks like. Algemic, okay? AGM-1 type semi-auto. The AR-100 type semi-auto. Look, can we have a slingshot? Can somebody... All right. An AR-180 type semi-auto. Argentine LSR semi-auto. Australian automatic arms, SAR type semi-auto. These are all from the gun buybacks. This shit is all from the gun buybacks. They got the hear ye 5,000 on there. Oh my God, the spitball. You said, does it exist? Boom, not anymore. Oh my God, they are just something else. They have went wild with this. That's what we get for trying to educate them. We should have just let them just figure this shit out for themselves. Now, every gun buy Chicago, y'all smart. Y'all smart. Illinois, y'all smart. They went through every gun buyback gun and added a name that probably didn't even exist. I mean, it existed, but y'all didn't know it. I didn't know it either. Here we go. Auto Ordnance, Thompson M1 and 1927 semi-automatics, Barrett Light 50 cal semi-auto, Barrett AR-70 type semi-auto, Bushmaster semi-auto rifle, Calco models, M100 and M900, CIS. If you just put an N in front of it, you got NCIS coming soon. No, all right. CIS, SR, they're about to ban NCIS next. 88 type semi-auto, Claridge high-tech C9 carbines, Colt AR-15, CAR-15, and all imitations except the Colt AR-15 Sporter H-bar rifle. Speaking of which, the Colt AR-15 Sporter H-bar rifle is banned. Oh my God. Hold on. Oh, the Daewoo. How many of y'all remember Daewoo? Y'all know that's a car dealer, right? Old car dealer. Here we go. Are they proposing this? Oh, for sure. This is the bill that's up for consideration now. Okay. Here we go. The Daewoo Max 1 and Max 2, aka otherwise known as AR-100. They talked to some experts for this one, boy. L-110C, K1, and K2. The Dragunov, Chinese-made semi-auto. FAMAS, semi-auto. That's French, right? So those of y'all played Metal Gear Solid, you know what this is. 223 caliber. I believe that's what it is. FAMAS. I remember that name. Okay, here we go. Feather 18-9 semi-auto. The FN LAR or FN FAL assault rifle. Oh my God. You just put Eagle Sports Range out of business. Here we go. The FNC semi-auto type carbine. FIE Frenchie LAW or the Law 12. The SPAS 12 assault shotgun. The Smith & Wesson MMP 15. The Steyr SA semi-auto. I think that's an Australian one. The Galil model AR and arms semi-auto. Heckler & Koch HK91 A3, HK93 A2, HK94 A2, and A3. All, I believe, M16, M4 variants. Usually made for their civilian versions of what Navy SEALs and Spec Ops use, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. William said assault kidney beans. That's all you're going to be able to use. Assault kidney beans. Oh, yeah. James, put what else you think is banned. The HK catalog banned. You can't even read it. Yeah, that's what I thought. The HK, those are HK AR-15 M4 variants for Navy SEALs. Right, here we go. Oh, it's not over with. Holmes model. Don't the Holmes model 88 shotgun sound like some shit they use in the civil rights movement? Here we go. Holmes model 88 shotgun. I told you that was a gun buyback shit. Manchester Arms Commando MK Mark 45, Mark 9. I believe it's Mark or MK 45, MK 9. Mandale TAC 1 semi-auto carbine. I'm gonna tell you one thing they didn't mention, but I'm not gonna tell you here because they're gonna mention that shit. Mossberg Model 500 Bullpup assault shotgun. Sterling Mark 6 Pause carbine. Who let the dogs out? Here we go. Ruger Mini 14 folding stock model 223 caliber SIG 550 and 551 assault rifle. They went to Eagle Sports Range and took a picture of all the guns in the cabinet. Do you hear me? SKS with detachable magazine, AP 74 Commando semi-auto, Springfield Armory BM 59 SAR 48. Some of y'all are in your, some of y'all listening to the On the Mic with Mike podcast. You are in your gun cabinet right now, just hoping I don't call your gun or rifle or assault shotgun or bullpup pause. Who let the dogs out? Trust me, I'm coming down that road. Here we go. Springfield Armory BM 59 SAR 48 G3 SAR 3 M21 sniper rifle. So those of you who used to be snipers in the military, you won't even be able to use your platforms. You won't even be able to use it. Here we go. The M1A1, excluding the M1 Garand. How many of y'all going to SpringfieldArmory.com right now and purchase the M1 Garand? All street sweeper, assault type shotgun. Gun in all formats. Unique F11 semi-auto type. Don't that sound like she wears lashes and lace fronts? I'm sorry, y'all. The Daewoo USAS 12 semi-auto shotgun. Uzi 9mm carbine rifle. The Valmet M76 and M78 semi-auto. I'm going to put some pictures on this. The Weaver Arms Nighthawk semi-auto carbine. Wilkinson Arms 9mm semi-auto Terry. Right? Assault weapon means an assault shotgun or rifle, an assault pistol, a semi-automatic centerfire rifle that can accept a detachable magazine and has at least one of the following: Those of y'all who haven't paid attention, you know they have shotguns with detachable magazines, right? Here we go. It's not over, y'all. A folding or telescoping stock. Any grip of the weapon, including a pistol grip, thumb hole stock, or any other stock, the use of which would allow an individual to grip the weapon, resulting in any finger on the trigger hand, in addition to the trigger finger being directly below any portion of the action of the weapon when firing. A forward pistol grip, a flash suppressor, a grenade launcher, or flare launcher. So you can't even use a flare launcher? We can't have shit. You can't even use a flare launcher. You know they sell them, right? A semi-automatic centerfire rifle that has an overall less length of 30 inches. I might have read that wrong. A semi-auto pistol that can accept a detachable magazine and has at least one of the following: the ability to accept a detachable ammo magazine that attaches at some location outside of the pistol grip. A threaded barrel capable of accepting a flash suppressor. So that a forward pistol grip or silencer, which is a suppressor, right? A shroud that is attached to or partially completely encircles the barrel that permits the shooter to fire the firearm without being burned, except a slide that encloses the barrel. A second-hand grip, semi-automatic shotgun that has both of the following. Here we go. What did I tell y'all? If it was underlined, it's new. Wasn't there before. A folding or telescoping stock. Any grip of the weapon, including a pistol grip, thumb hole stock. Y'all know what all that is. Here we go. Semi-automatic shotgun that has the ability to accept a detachable magazine. Some of y'all going to be selling a lot of your stuff if this stuff pass. Where you going to sell it to? Where you going to sell it to if the gun store can't even possess it or purchase it or sell it? Where you going to sell it to? But you got to register with the state police. A shotgun with a revolving cylinder. A semi-automatic pistol with a fixed magazine that can accept more than 10 rounds. Not a detached one, a fixed one. A semi-automatic centerfire rifle that has a fixed magazine that it can accept more than 10 rounds. An assault weapon does not include. Here we go. An assault weapon does not include. An assault weapon does not. JFB. Joshua said this is depression on a page. Oh my God. So you just supposed to drift in Lake Michigan. That's what it is. Oh my God. Here we go. An assault weapon does not include any firearm that is manually operated by bolt, pump, lever, or slide action. That's the M1 Garand. An unserviceable firearm that has been made permanently inoperable. That's also the M1 Garand in certain cases. ROTC, rifle and drill teams use those, right? An unserviceable, did I say that already? Okay. Is an antique firearm. Uses rimfire ammunition or cartridges. How many of y'all going to get 22s? Here's something. A 22 with a hollow point mushrooms up to what centimeter? Test question. Is an antique firearm, I just said that already, has been excluded as an assault weapon in the Illinois Department of Natural Resources rule. The Department of Natural Resources shall have the authority to adopt rules to further define exclusions of an assault weapon, right? As long as the make, model, and caliber of the firearm excluded has a viable application to hunting game and conforms to accepted hunting principles of fair chase. Any air rifle, right? And again, In this section, a firearm is considered to have a detachable the ability to accept a detachable magazine unless the magazine, sorry, I got a drink. Or ammunition feeding device can only be removed through disassembly of the firearm action. Assault weapon attachment means any device capable of being attached to a firearm that is specifically designed for making or converting a firearm into any of the firearms listed in paragraph 1 of subsection A. Anti-firearm, look it up. 50 caliber rifle, you know what that is, right? We're not talking about muzzle loader or black powder for historical reenactments or hunting. 50 caliber cartridge, including 50 BMG. The term 50 caliber cartridge does not include any memorabilia or display item that is filled with a permanent inert substance or that is otherwise permanently altered in a manner that prevents its ready modification for use as live ammunition. I got 250 caliber pins. Actual pins that are in the shape of, did you say that's a lot of words? Shut up, JFB. JFB, you're correct. In mushrooms to a 9mm. Okay. A 22 caliber hollow point. Mushrooms to what diameter? Right. Here we go. A detachable magazine means an ammunition feeding device that can be removed readily from a firearm without requiring disassembly of the firearm action or without use of a tool, including a bullet or a cartridge. Other definitions. Just looking for some important parts. Feel free to go online, look it up yourself. Right? I'm not reading all of these for the purposes of time. Not that I don't want to, but I don't want to. Make sense? Got it. Beginning 300 days after the effective date of this amendatory act of the 102nd General Assembly, the person with a registered assault weapon or 50 caliber rifle may transfer the rifle only to an heir or individual residing in another state, maintaining it in another state, or a dealer licensed as a federal firearms dealer under Section 923 of the Federal Gun Control Act of 68. It's a lot. Oh, for the purposes of registration required under subsection E, the Illinois State Police shall assess a registration fee of $25 per person to the owner of an assault weapon and $25 to the person per person to the owner of a 50 caliber rifle. The fees shall be deposited in the State Police Firearms Services Fund for holiday parties, bar mitzvahs, and Kanye West bashing fest. I'm not touching that. That was just something funny to say. Moving on. That's not what the law says at all. And these comments are not the comments of the Illinois State Police or Ye, formerly known as Kanye West. Keep going. Here we go. This section does not apply to peace officers. Wardens, superintendents, and keepers of prisons, members of the armed services, any company that employs armed security officers in this state at a nuclear energy storage, weapons, or development site or facility regulated by the Federal Nuclear Regulatory Commission, I'm just looking through, trying to pick out some of the things. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about armed security officers. Okay. Any person who knowingly manufactures, delivers, or sells, purchases, or possesses, or caused to be manufactured, delivered, sold, purchased, or possessed in violation of this section, an assault weapon attachment, class 4 felony. Violation of the assault weapon or, possession of the assault weapon, you get it, manufactures, delivers, sells, possesses, purchases, you got it. Class 3 for the first time. Class 2 for the second time. Or if you have 2 or more of these weapons at the same time. On the first time, class 2. All right, here we go. New. Didn't I tell you all that this was equivalent to the Clinton crime control bill, the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994? Strike that. 720 Illinois Compiled Statutes Act 5, Section 24-1.10, new. Manufacture, delivery, or sale of large capacity ammunition feeding devices, otherwise known as magazines. In this section, large capacity ammunition feeding device means 1. A magazine, belt, drum, feed strip, or a similar device that has a capacity of or that can be readily restored or converted to accept more than 10 rounds of ammo. Break out your 10-round magazines. We going back to the Clinton crime bill era. Here we go. Number 2, any combination of parts from which a device described in paragraph 1 can be assembled. Large capacity ammunition feeding device does not include an attached tubular device designed to accept and capable of operating only with 22 caliber rimfire ammunition. How many are ready to buy magazines now? Do they even still make 10-round magazines like that? Do they even still? You said, Joshua, you are wishful thinking. Joshua Johnson said, this is not going to pass. Well, I hope it doesn't. Newsflash, you and I both know it has a high, H-I-G-H, high chance of passing. It has a high chance of passing. Here we go. Oh, we're getting that time. Sorry, it's yawning. Here we go. Large capacity, I just said that. Large capacity ammunition feeding device does not include a tubular magazine that is contained in a lever action firearm or any device that has been made permanently operable. This section does not apply to peace officers, local law enforcement agencies, wardens, superintendents, and keepers of prisons, members of the armed services, company that employs armed security officers in this state at nuclear facilities. A person, this is the sentence. Sorry, I got a yawn. A person who knowingly sells, delivers, purchases, or causes to be delivered, sold, or purchased in violation of this section a large capacity ammo feeding device capable of holding more than 10 rounds of ammo commits a class 3 felony. Your Honor, for the record, Mike Brown seeking leave to file my appearance on behalf of the defendant who appears in court. We're answering ready for preliminary hearing. Damn it. Is what your attorney would say, because Mike Brown is not an attorney and this is not legal advice. Class 3 felony for the first violation and a class 2 felony for the second or subsequent violation, or for delivery or possession of 2 or more of these devices At the same time, any other violation is a Class A misdemeanor. And that's the end. Section 99 effective date takes effect upon becoming law. So just the mere possession. We'll read it again. A person who knowingly delivers, sells, purchases, or causes to be delivered, sold, or purchased in violation of this section, large capacity ammo feeding devices capable of holding 10 rounds. I think I said possession. I might be wrong. Because it doesn't say possession. It says delivers, sells, purchases. Same thing. Sorry. Purchases is possession. That's a good question. How do you know I purchase it? How do you know I don't try? You're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble. This is horrible. All right, so that's the end of it. I told you we was going to read it all the way through. Most stuff we read it. Some stuff we didn't read. You're more than welcome to go back through. I don't know if there has been anybody else who has actually covered it by looking at the actual bill. Those of you all who are still hanging on, sound off in the comments. Have you seen people actually put the bill on the screen and actually go through it and read it? Those of you all who will be listening to the On the Mic with Mike podcast, this is some good listening to, right? I'm going to post it up. I'm going to get the audio and I'm going to post it up, right? On the Mic with Mike podcast, anywhere where podcasts are available. Apple Podcast, right? Apple Podcast, Spotify. You said, no, I'm the only one so far. Yay. You said, I have not. You're the only one I've seen that does this. Well, thank you. Thank you. I clap cheeks. That's a hell of a name. Speaking of clapping cheeks. Should be crying, but no. You got to put it in the right way, Mike. This woman's word. This woman's word. Get it safe and twerk. No. You want to, so you don't want to put, but you want to touch it. Okay. Get you a safe and secure those things. This woman's word. This woman's word. MaxSaves.com. When my link work. When my link work. I clap cheeks. You said, is that in the bill as well? Put it in. Look. All right, we got one more thing to talk about, y'all, and it's important. Sorry, nose. I gotta say this. And I gotta be honest about something. Right? Gotta be honest about something. So there was a time when, and I gotta put this on here. I want to make sure the face is in the right position. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Yeah. Here we go. I think, okay, 1 minute. It'll make sense. It'll make sense in a minute. It'll make sense in a minute. Okay, good. There we go. I think that's perfect. That's the perfect picture right there. Bam. Let's get to this tab. Here we go. So, in August of 2022, right? Those of you all who know about what happened in July of 2022, Robert Tight Pants Cremo, I shouldn't say his name like that, right? But Robert Cremo climbed atop a roof in the northern village of Highland Park, a town that had an assault weapons ban ordinance at the time of the incident. Robert Crimo climbed on top of a roof and in the midst of a 4th of July parade decided to shoot his AR-15 variant at parade goers during the 4th of July parade. I was on scene during the aftermath sometime thereafter. And the Illinois State Police came under fire for the clear and present danger issue that was later discovered when the Illinois State Police received a clear and present danger report from the Highland Park Police Department stating that Robert Crimo alleged to say he was going to hurt himself and or others. The Illinois State Police did follow-up investigation, but the family would not cooperate or did not provide any information to give the state police a reason to actually deny him future consideration for having a FOID, because he didn't have a FOID then. I believe he was only 19. When he turned 21 years of age, I think his father got the FOID card for him. The details are sketchy. They're not sketchy. I just don't remember all of them. Either way, he got a FOID card, and he was able to legally purchase and possess the rifle that was used on that day. And pursuant to that, because of the rules that were in place at the time, the rules that were in place by the Illinois State Police stated that pretty much it had to have some evidence or some teeth in order for them to be able to revoke a person's FOID card under Section 8F of the FOID Card Act. Remember, we read that section. What did that section say? If it is the case that it is believed that you pose a clear and present danger to yourself, other persons, or the public. That's Chapter 430, Illinois Compiled Statutes, Act 65, Section 8, which is the revocations or denials section, specifically 8F, clear and present danger. So given that we were in the midst of a gubernatorial election, that's fancy speak for governor election, and given the fact that the Illinois State Police is not an elected law enforcement official, he serves at the will and pleasure of the governor. Given that this is the case, right, they are both, in essence, at that time under fire. Both jobs are up for election, appointment, you get it. So the Illinois State Police created emergency rules that allowed them to amend the rules that were in place to where just a little dragon's breath of a hint that you're a clear and present danger, and they can revoke your FOID card, which then automatically revokes your concealed carry card and any other statuses attributed to that. And this happened in August. At present, there are approximately or over 10,000 people plus whose FOID cards, concealed carry licenses, and other statuses have been revoked and remain presently revoked because of this situation, clear and present danger. What you all may not know is there is a FOID card appeals board that is set to go live January 1st, 2023. The specific statute is Chapter 430, Illinois Compiled Statutes, Act 65, Section 10. The statute was created and signed into law September of 2022. And so, what you all have already heard of the Concealed Carry Licensing Review Board. They exist to review appeals for denials or even returns in certain cases of concealed carry licenses. Well, this firearm owner's identification card review board does the same thing, except for FOID cards. And so there was a lot of turmoil, upset, whatever the case may be, because in this enactment of these emergency rules, the Illinois State Police grandfathered and went back retroactively to 6+ years of people who have had reports that have previously been listed as unfounded. The Illinois State Police overturned those findings and then issued revocations. I will affectionately call this a reverse and remanding back to its status. So then I begin to look at it and I begin to examine, does this even make sense? I got to give credit where credit is due. I've got to sit here and get Director Kelly his props. Let me tell you why. Does this signal egregious, alleged, or actual constitutional violations? Yes. Oh my God. So many people were affected by what could have been alluded as bad politics. But I want you to take into consideration the following. One, the state police director serves at the will and pleasure of the governor. Two, any revocations or reinstatements were done by the state police alone. I ask you these questions. Are the state police qualified mental health practitioners? No. Are the state police qualified mental health examiners? No. Right? If you were in the position of Director Brendan Kelly, and you may not know, but he's never been a sworn law enforcement officer who carried a pistol, but he was a state's attorney, which is in essence a law enforcement officer. Yes, but you know what I mean, right? Have we ever had an attorney as a state police director? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I would argue no. That said, thinking objectively and thinking like a lawyer, if I were the state police director and I was brought in this meeting and I would ask, or I would be asked, what, if anything, should we do? Director, right? I am the governor of the state of Illinois, and this is a mess. Director, what should we do? Well, here's Director Kelly. Sir, with all due respect, neither myself or the rest of the state police, we are not qualified mental health professionals. This is a mental health issue. Previously, the state police, given that it's administrative, would be the authority that would approve, deny, revoke, reinstate, unless by court order or some other kind of order. Those decisions rested with us. Well, if you look at the previous state police directors, one of whom is shown here, that's Leo Schmidt, right? Former deputy chief of the Chicago Police Department out of gang crimes and or gang enforcement, and then his last duty assignment was the deputy chief in the Inglewood district. Then he was elevated and appointed to director of the Illinois State Police under Governor Bruce Rauner, and then Director Kelly is his predecessor. I'm sorry, not predecessor. You know what I'm saying. Next guy up, right? Then if you look at who preceded Director Schmidt, it was Hiram Grau, another Chicago police deputy superintendent. So then I'm looking at Director Kelly thinking like a lawyer. I can't speak to mental health issues. I'm a licensed attorney, former state's attorney. This is a mental health issue. And I don't think it's fair on the Department of State Police or even legal for us to even speak on if these people are who have been revoked are qualified to even get their stuff back under 8F of the FOID Card Act. That being said, right now we presently have a concealed carry licensing review board who has a strict duty to review concealed carry license appeals, but they don't have a duty to review FOID cards. Why don't you just enact a FOID card licensing review board where their sole job is to review FOID cards? That way it releases the liability of that decision from the state police and returns the state police to the duty that we are supposed to have, which is to execute orders, not make them ourselves. If I'm thinking about it objectively, it makes sense. But they couldn't start approving or reviewing the appeals and returning the cards right away. What just happened in November? All this was still taking place in a gubernatorial election. So they had to make sure J.B. Pritzker was going to win his seat again. So that way, Brendan Kelly, provided the governor decides to still keep him as the director, can still retain his position. And I can understand whether I agree or not. That's neither here nor there. It's understanding the position. I can understand why they went retroactive back to 6 years. Because guess who that covers? These two. Director Schmidt is the direct predecessor to Director Kelly. It makes sense if you look at it objectively. They got to cover their butts. And if you were in the same position, you would do it too. Understanding and acceptance are two different things. Why should the state police and a part of the executive branch analyze whether or not someone is mentally qualified to carry a pistol? Now, if they are accused of a felony, we get the court order, we'll revoke it. Order of protection, get the court order, we'll revoke it. Convicted of a felony on the judgment of conviction, revoke it. Developmentally disabled, we don't revoke it. Mental health, wait. That's not our area. Not our area, because that is purely administrative. The Firearms Restraining Order, Chapter 430, Illinois Compiled Statutes, Act 67, is a judicial action. Clear and present danger is purely administrative. But do we want these administrators, police officers, who, and the state police gets the highest level of training? They are truly professionals. Let's call a spade a spade. You ain't got to like it. But they get a lot of great training. But it doesn't make them qualified to assess whether somebody is mentally stable to carry a firearm. It just makes sense. So let's hope that when the board is back up, not back up, but you know what I'm saying, when the board is constituted, under 430 Illinois Compiled Statutes, Act 65, Section 10, when the board is constituted, let's just hope that people's appeals start to get reviewed and they get restored, provided they are qualified. Then I can see Director Kelly saying, we didn't make the decision, we just executed the order issued by the board, consisting of 7 people, where the majority, 4 out of 7, decided that this person should have it. So it's not on us as an agency. We were just executing the orders of others. I totally get it. I get it. It makes sense. If you were in Director Kelly's position, you do the same thing too. I get it. Politics, you ain't got to like it, but understand it. They got to cover their butts too? Come on now. Come on, don't lie. All right, that's it. That's all I got. What are your comments? What are your thoughts about this? And of course, I'm going to take this, segment it, put it on different platforms, because this affected a lot of people. I'm just saying, it affected a lot of people. And so understanding and acceptance are 2 different things. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know. I'll issue a retraction, right? For who am I? But just someone that's no one. You get it. Fallout Man says, Grandma Gertrude just got shot by a 9mm and a kid named Jamal DeMarcus III. Oh, Lord. I can't. All right, y'all. It's normally, yeah, Joshua. They got to cover their butts, man. Look. Those of y'all who know about politics, you know what I'm talking about. You already know what I'm talking about. You said, I don't think it's politics. I think it's an issue of administrative power. Okay, I'm willing to listen, but think about it. Operation Paperclip. It's a wonderful YouTube name. Okay, let's think about it. The issue of clear and present danger is purely administrative. Purely. But in fairness, is Director Kelly, Chief Schmidt now, who's used to be Director Schmidt, are any of them qualified mental health professionals to look at a mental health evaluation from someone who said you're okay? Look at the record, the facts and circumstances, the reports, the medical records. If you've ever done a mental health appeal, which I have for people going through these issues, do you think these people at the Illinois State Police are qualified to analyze mental health and medical records? Have you ever tried to look at a chart? Doctor's handwriting? Do you think that, we're talking about constitutional violation. Would you want them looking at those records and making that determination? Right? Would you want that? I know I wouldn't. Let's be fair. Right? And then let's talk about the other half. Yeah, they're not even qualified. So thinking like a lawyer, because let's just say the governor, yeah, and then if they do, then it's up to their interpretation. Do you want police officers interpreting the records of a qualified mental health professional who is more qualified in that area than the police are? And so thinking like a lawyer, which I am not, and this is not legal advice, thinking like a lawyer, which Brendan Kelly is. He is an Illinois licensed attorney. He was state's attorney. I forgot for what county, I want to say St. Clair. He was a state's attorney, the state's attorney. Thinking like a lawyer. I could see him saying, well, I'm not even qualified to speak to any of those issues. I'm not qualified to speak to that. And since I'm not qualified to speak to it, my agency isn't qualified to analyze it. If the director of the Illinois State Police, the chief law enforcement officer underneath the Illinois Attorney General, the Illinois Attorney General isn't even qualified to speak to it. So the Illinois Attorney General isn't qualified to speak to it, and the state police director isn't qualified to speak to it, who in the state police is? They might have some doctors on payroll doing other things, but that's not their function. So give it to a group of people separate from the Illinois State Police and let them choose, just like you do with the Concealed Carry License Review Board. And if you look at the statistics and the reality, there are a lot of objections to people getting their concealed carry. But do you know the Concealed Carry Licensing Review Board actually overturns a lot of objections to people's licenses? So the Concealed Carry Licensing Review Board is doing a great job. I know. I see the results. So what makes us think the FOID Card Licensing Review Board isn't going to do a great job? If I have to think about it objectively, I think that was a very smart move by Director Kelly. I think that was a very smart move by Director Kelly. Okay, let me read your comment. Al Sullivan. Is it Ali? I fucked it up. Called you Al. Ali Sullivan. I need a 2A lawyer. I was denied of my concealed carry. Cook County said I was a danger to the community, but I have never been convicted of a crime. I'm going to let you know this, Ali. A 2A lawyer can't do nothing to help you at this stage. I've been talking to them all. One who wanted to take $3,500 on retainer to do nothing because they did not understand the politics of this issue. Who do you know has broken this down better than me? I'm not even a lawyer. But tell me this doesn't politically make sense. But what I can do for you is this. I can help you because I've helped plenty among the 10,000 who are going through the same situation under 8F. I can help you, right? I'll help you. Make sure your firearm disposition record is squared away. If you haven't done that, I will help you. 773-644-5000. 773-644-5000. Text me. I will help you. And you're in Cook County. Too easy. I'll help you. If this just happened to you, and even if it didn't just happen, I'll still help you. I'll get you in contact. You're going to have to do a forensic mental health evaluation. It's inescapable. You're going to have to do it. And I'll help you file the appeal. I've done too many of them already. I'll help you. You don't need a lawyer for this. You will lose money, and they will just do the same thing I did. When I tell you so many lawyers don't know what to do during this situation, I'm talking about the best. Don't believe me? I'll give you some names. Don't believe me? I will give you some names. You can go to the best, and they all got the same answer. But I will tell you this, there have been some fair lawyers who will say, I don't even want to take your money right now because we still trying to figure this out. That is the most saddest thing ever. But I will tell you one agency that definitely can't help you out. USCCA. Oh my God. They can't help you out at all. You know why? They don't even cover clear and present danger. Did you hear what I said? USCCA does not cover clear and present danger. Now, I got him, William. He said any crime but the reason had to be said why he is a danger. Am I wrong? Am I right or wrong? You're right in theory, but wrong in terms of how they've been issuing those letters. The letter is just a blanket statement that pursuant to 430 ILCS 65 section 8F, you have been deemed to be in clear and present danger, and it'll only give you the month and year of the allegation. The clear and present danger report, you will never hear of who reported you. You'll never know of the circumstance. All of that stuff is confidential. USCCA does not help you for the thing that can be easily used against you, and that's clear and present danger. CCW Safe does. They will fund your defense. USCCA does not. If you got them in another state, cool. If it works out for you in another state, cool. But I cannot in good conscience continue to recommend them to you guys. They won't help you with clear and present danger. They won't help you. Sorry, they won't help you. CCW Safe will fund it. I have been in contact with the National Trial Counsel, Don West, myself, directly. Text messages to prove it. They will fund it. USCCA will not. You don't have to believe me. Find out for yourself. And guess you're going to be calling 773-644-5000. Telling you. I'm telling you. Telling you, man. All right, y'all. It's getting late. I need to take my ass to sleep. I ain't even eat. But this stuff was important. Had to be talked about. Had to be talked about. All right, y'all. So for those of y'all who are holding on to appeals for clear and present danger, I think 2023 will be the beginning, provided you did what you were supposed to do. I think January, February will be the time you'll get your stuff back. I mean, understand the politics of it. You've been pissed off for 4 or 5 months. Hopefully you found something to do during that time. But I think when the Concealed Carry Review Board gets back up and JB's still in office, right? Win-win, right? Now, if you're really crazy, you don't need your shit. You need help. Get the help you need, and then let some time pass. You'll be able to get back to doing it. All right? All right, you all. Please. Thank you all for watching. I got a couple of people who donated. For those of you all who did, appreciate it. I'm just glad to have had you all stick around all this time. Okay. I'm going to at least get 2 more books added to the count, right? This page ain't monetized. How many of y'all would have gave super chats if this page was monetized? Right? I can't monetize this. We talk about guns and shit, right? But at least it would have been nice to know. All right, you all, stay safe. Stay safe. I'm going to check on that link and find out what's going on with that. Find out what's going on with that. Okay. Until then, you all be safe. You all be safe. We'll talk soon.
What's going on, you? This is Instructor Mike. You can follow me on Facebook at Mike Brown or Instructor Mike. Follow me
It
on.
could be you as a citizen, and you walked up and you see somebody. It look heavy? I don't know. Special, that must be. But it's good to know that this can handle the high pressure rounds of the flooding. Rocket forward. Ready to go.
Make eye contact with me. He's still trying to get it open a couple of times.
So, Taylor.